Welcome back. In this video, we are jumping back into the Corolla and we're going to focus on adding that thing, the old steering rack or steering column mount, back into the car and mocking up this 2008 Toyota Yaris steering column. Just mocking, no permanent install, but definitely need to get the steering situated before I can focus on the exhaust. So let's get going. So what the plan is going to be, at least for right now, is if you can see on the steering column, we've got two holes for where it mounts at. As far as I can tell, that is the only real point, only real location for mounting. So I'm gonna take these two hole locations, and then here is where the old steering column mounted up. And what I'm going to try and do is line those holes up with here. Once that's done, drill some holes, or mark them, then drill them. And what I'll probably end up having to do is maybe cut like a little bit right here to get between this area to put the actual bolts. And that's just going to be a test mock-up. But if I feel like maybe I need a little more strength holding, I might go all the way through to the back end here and then just put a nut or a bolt through it. I'll figure that one out. But so yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to start working on that, blah, blah, blah. And then I will come back with where we are on the mock-up with this piece. So yeah, be right back. Phase one complete, mocking. So what I did, as I said earlier, I drilled holes underneath. And then, so right now I put both bolts through and then put the steering column here just to make sure they still line up before the next phase. And, so right now we have both bolts in. I have the nuts on here just to kind of secure it, hold them in place, so I was able to do that, or mount the column loosely. Next up, I'm going to tack underneath and get the bolts there permanently. And then once they're tacked in, I'll also weld under these nuts just to give it some sturdiness. And that's at least the first part. The second part I realized as I was going through this, we'll show you right here, looks like I'll have to make a mount under the dashboard. Oh, whoops. It's helpful if it's in the shot. There's what looks like I just passed through a bolt here, so I'll have to make a mount there. I'm guessing that's just to make sure everything's nice and secure. So we'll get to that in a little bit. I will go weld those bolts in there, and we'll probably come back with this being mounted in the car just so we can start test fitting the actual column in there and figure out if this is going to hit anything, or if I'm going to have to massage some metal or anything else that comes up. So yeah, I'll be back. Well, the bolts are welded in. Just some goober type shit, make sure they stay in place. No real twisting, although where I had trimmed the top of the bolt off, it was pressed against the edges here. So it was never going to turn, I just need to stay upward. These are 8 by 1.25 bolts. They appear to fit the best in the Yaris steering column. So that's what I used. But I can't bring myself to put this back in the car yet until, clean it up and paint it. I don't know. Seems like something I should do. Anyway, we'll be back with it painted and in the car. Quick and dirty status check. This is bolted in. You can kind of see through that hole there. There's 4 openings that the brake booster would be bolted into. We are not doing that right now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have a booster or a delete or whatever. We'll figure that out later. The only hope right now is to go put this in. Just secure it by this plate here. Let's see if... There we go. We'll bolt it in by these two. See where this ends up kind of lining up, and that's when we'll come back, because what I'm going to have to figure out is if I'm going to be able to kind of use this, kind of modify it, or if I'm just going to be taking it off right here and find a new solution. Plus, I'm guessing I might have to trim out something on the piece in the car over there to make this fit. Looks like it was going to be pretty close, but let's find out for sure. Be back in a minute, or second, or whatever. And here we are, steering column in. I believe if the dashboard and everything was here, it would maybe be pretty close. The things that I'm going to have to look into or work on is I might have to trim this part out a little or reinforce it, because this goes just a little higher. But since I don't want it only on 2 bolts anyway, the other thing that's going to need worked is what I talked about earlier. I need to build a bracket that goes probably from around here straight down, so that way can position the steering column, this pivot point, a little further up. That would then allow for a little bit better adjustment, I feel, on the, you know, here, the adjustment lever. But everything else, like bring this up a little, and I feel like everything else kind of works. I might have to figure out a different solution for the brake pedal. Maybe not. I've got big feet, so that is my concern, just because we got the steering joint right there. So, not a lot needs to be done, I feel, to make that solution work for the physical mounting part of it. With that said, the little steering knuckle or whatever, spline, so it goes right there. So my options are still pretty wide open, because let's just navigate the camera down here. First, so I can see. As you can see there, the column is almost straight up. So I use this term very lightly once I get the GoPro out of here. Yoink. Shouldn't be too hard. I mean, I'm gonna have a lot to learn, but I don't feel like it'll be too bad finding a solution to either go from straight there to down there, or with a joint, whatever, or take the whole thing off and just build a whole new layout. I'll learn as I go. With that said though, I will gladly take any advice. I have never done this before. So if you happen to have experience getting the steering joints and things like that, and some things I need to keep in mind when trying to do this, feel free to leave a comment, let me know, because we're nearing the end of the year and I'm way behind my own schedule of hoping to at least get the engine running before the end of the year. That includes with a turbo on it. So we'll see where I get. With that said, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was a quicker video, and then I can do the next video after getting insight and doing my own research. But have a good day. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel the need. Bye-bye.